Good evening. Welcome to the Government News Brief. This evening, police and custom officers urged to continue fight against corruption. Industry on the east coast of Demerara is being looked at as a new community for squatters, and Crabwood Creek residents are now online. These and other stories when we return. Thanks for staying with us. Police and custom officers are being urged to stand strong against corruption. Delicia Haynes tells us more.
The aim of the program is to enhance the capacity of border security officials in CARICOM, who are to detect and prevent illegal activities on their borders. Benefiting from the 5-day training are 15 custom officers, 15 immigration officers, and 3 police officers. Assistant Secretary General of CARICOM Secretariat, Dr. Douglas Slater, in making brief remarks, told officers that they will be faced with a number of challenges, including the temptation of corruption on the job.
We know that our workers, including our border protection agencies, they do have temptations, and the criminals are out there will be making offers. You have a responsibility, and I expect you to uphold that responsibility, to desist from such temptation. Because if you do not have proper discipline and professionalism, chaos will result.
Minister of Citizenship Winston Felix says the investment is to enable officers to prevent, protect, and minimize the opportunity for illegal activities on the borders. The minister notes that the officers must be able to transfer their knowledge from the training to the job.
Unless you transfer this training to the job, we would be unable to realize the intentions for which this program has been implemented. You have the training, utilize it on the job. Fight the corrupt elements, don't let them get to you. They get to you, they destroy you, and by extension, they destroy the image and reputation of the government.
The program is being facilitated in collaboration with CARICOM's Implementation Agency for Crime and Security Impacts and the European Union. For the Government News Brief, Delicia Haynes.
An action plan is being crafted to find a new community for squatters. Paul McAdam has more.
The Central Housing and Planning Authority, the CHPA, is looking at industry on the east coast of Demerara to develop a relocation site for Georgetown squatters. These are squatters who occupy zero-tolerance areas, says Chief Executive Officer Leland Saul.
Our plan is to develop an area in the industry, and we hope to use that area to relocate persons who are squatting along the East-West Front Road, that area that you mentioned about, and other areas in Churchtown. There's a problem squatting along the Lamaha Canal in the Sophia area. We cannot allow this situation to continue. And therefore, in the medium to long term, we would initiate a plan to remove those persons.
The identification and development of the squatter relocation site will form part of a detailed action plan that the CHNPA is crafting to address squatters' relocation throughout Guyana. Director of the CHNPA's Community Development Department, Gladwin Charles, explains that the plan is being prepared by a consultant.
We realize that it is a very, very big task, and the CHNPA alone cannot do it. And we're in that action plan. We know there are some ideas in terms of working with different agencies, so it has to be an interagency approach.
From the data collected, CHNPA is looking at the relocation of close to 12,000 persons. This figure does not account for those persons who continue to rebuild on areas previously cleared of squatters, Charles says.
Up to last week, some residents came from Sophia. They complained that more persons are building structures. And one of the things we found, because we have announced it already that we're looking at a relocation plan, some persons, what they're doing, they're saying that, oh, we know that the ministry is going to do this, or we're going to build a structure so that we can qualify when time comes. So some people are doing that. So we want to, as CEO said, we want to ask persons to desist and to come in so that we can have their information. Even if you've never applied, it doesn't mean that you have to go on the reserve to qualify.
Whilst the CHNP has been working to relocate persons living in zero-tolerance areas, the authority has also been working with residents to regularize those settlements where possible. Paul McAdam for the Government News Brief.
Health clinics countrywide push for Adolescent Health and Wellness Day. Here is more from Delicia Haynes.
Even as adolescent health is being promoted, healthcare providers and other stakeholders are being trained to improve this aspect of healthcare delivery. Focal point for adolescent health at the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Onika Scott, says that this training will equip providers for the specialized level of healthcare to be offered to teenagers.
The other initiative targets non-pregnant teens as well, and this is essentially the Adolescent Health and Wellness Day, a spin-off from Youth-Friendly Services. This is where we seek to offer basic services to adolescents. We've launched 24 of these sites to date. Guyana, for a long time now, have decided that we would look at health across the life cycle. And we cannot have a very good maternal and child health program, and then we see that young person after we discharge them at 5 years old until they're pregnant or until they come with a chronic disease that is diagnosed in late adolescence.
Participants will be trained in adolescent health initiatives to identify the important elements of adolescence, including the health and social factors, and acquire the necessary skills to provide friendly and effective health services.
The heightened level of confidentiality must be carried through not only by our doctors, but our midwives, or medics, or nurses, anybody attending to the young person. Adolescent health in Guyana cannot or should not, cannot be delivered by the Ministry of Public Health alone. You would agree? There are a whole lot of other institutions, there are a whole lot of other organizations, NGOs that influence the health of our young people.
The training workshop is being facilitated from June 12 to 15, providing a basic foundation in adolescent healthcare provision. Several agencies are collaborating to effectively develop a plan for the implementation of adolescent health clinics and community groups. The support groups that have already been launched throughout Guyana seeks to provide sexual and reproductive education while ensuring adequate care is rendered, contributing to overall development of young persons. For the Government News Brief, Delicia Haynes.
Crabwood Creek residents are now online. Gabriela Patram traveled there and filed this report.
On a typical afternoon from 16 hours to 19 hours, the hub is filled to capacity with students. Many are researching their homework information or maybe printing pictures for a class project. Adults also visit the hub to catch up on the day's activities on social media and communicate with their friends and family. President of the management group of the Crabwood Creek ICT Hub, George Bitchnott, says that it is a demonstration of partnership on all levels.
See the kids use the computers the way they ought to be used. Beneficial to them doing their schoolwork or learning a program or learning the keyboard, whatever. We try to encourage them to use it educationally rather than playing games. So we supervise and try and guide them.
DPI and Genus work with some of the students who visit the center on a daily basis on why they enjoy using the ICT Hub.
You is learning, you're doing everything, you're doing your homework, everything you're doing.
Minister of Public Telecommunications Catherine Yu says it gives her a sense of pride to see what has been accomplished.
Success of the facility is how the citizens take advantage of it.
Additionally, Presidential Advisor on E-Government and Chairman of the National Data Management Unit, Floyd Levi, says that the ICT Hub will be expanded.
One of the things that we recognize that communities have varying sizes. Now, Crabwood Creek is a very large community, and as you can see, the setting here could become cramped if 30 people turn up. So we are obviously willing to work with the management committee for this community ICT hub to expand, because there's actually a room next door in which we can expand and also provide more bandwidth to this community.
For the Government News Brief, Gabriela Patram.
Department of Labor and the Ministry of Education observes World Day Against Child Labor. Delon Sanko has the details.
6 schools today participated in a child walk for World Day Against Child Labor. The walk started from Parliament Building and ended at the Jubilee Park. Minister within the Ministry of Social Protection, Keith Scott, reminded students that their childhood is important to their development and no one has the right to take it away from them.
Therefore, if that period of youth is cut short, if that period of time when you were young and that opportunity to play, that opportunity to develop the skills that you need to become better boys and girls is stopped, arrested, deprived, then you are at a severe disadvantage. You're being robbed. You cannot be happy as you ought to be as a young person. Our job as big people, therefore, is to see that you are given the best when you're young, that you're allowed all the opportunities to be the best you can be.
Minister Scott notes that child labor is a man-made problem, and since the foundation of the problem is known, its solution should not be too difficult to determine and apply. Therefore, he explains that the government's strategies, plans and program against child labor were developed against the background of the Constitution. The Combating of Trafficking in Persons Act of 2005, the National Youth Policy of 2016, the Education Act Chapter 3901, the relevant labor laws, and the various international labor organization conventions and recommendations to which they subscribe. The International Labour Organization, ILO, launched this day in 2002 to focus attention on the global extent of child labour and the actions needed to eliminate it. World Day Against Child Labour is being observed under the theme In Conflict and Disaster, Protect Children from Child Labour, with a sub-theme In Difficult Circumstances, Protect Children from Child Labour. Delon Sanko for the Government News Brief.
And we close this evening by telling you that Guyana's green agenda is getting a big boost as the Ministry of Communities is on a mission to plant 10,000 trees nationwide. Minister of Communities Ronald Bulkan says that the initiative aims to lessen the effect of global warming. The minister was speaking at the opening ceremony at Eversham Post Office Road.
We have heard the regional chairman both allude as well as speak of the importance and the role that trees play in the creation of a healthy environment.
It is the RDC's and NDC's responsibility to manage, improve, and develop their communities. The minister notes that the tree planting initiative will also strengthen the local government system. Region 6 Regional Chairman welcomes the initiative.
I'm glad the school children are here this morning because it has to start from a young age. This development of this thought process of caring for our environment has to begin at nursery school and primary school, not when we reach university, and then when we reach secondary school, then we begin to think about it.
This tree planting initiative is under the theme, Plant a Tree for You and Me, Building Green Communities from People Up. Thanks for watching. Visit gina.gov.gy for more news and information 24/7. We're also on Facebook and YouTube, and the links are on the screen. Have a great evening.